What is going on, Aztec Nation? Sons of Montezuma is back. Another episode recapping Aztecs basketball. What's going on, Mike? We're going to get into big victory Thursday because the men's and women's team both won yesterday. So you guys stick around and we'll get into it all. Let's do this.
Shooting nice pass. Farrell Compton wide open down low.
Almost man-to-man stuff.
But every now and then somebody gets open like Dixon Waters.
Nice pass.
Dixon Waters again. And 3-9 hitting another three. This is a quad one win for them if they can get it. Dixon Waters again. Clock winding down. Here's one. Banking in the three. And another turnover. Here's Bird. He was around for a long time. Folsom blocked by Guap. DeGorville just inside the line. Turnover for the Aggies. Harrington. The finish by Miles.
False red. You better pay attention to him.
DeGorville hitting. My goodness, the Aztecs are on fire. Throwing it down and dropping the hammer at Viejas.
Mountain West is up for grabs. A week and a half left to decide who's going to take home the regular season crown. These two teams split home victories.
He's so effective from that mid-range and really do whatever her team needs. Oh, nice stroke by Panganiban again.
Kick into the corner, Martinez. Panganiban wide open, left wing, and fires it in. San Diego State comes away with the 66-64 win. That was hard fought.
Hard fought. Yes, indeed. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Sons of Montezuma podcast. Of course, you guys know Mateo San Diego. I'm an Aztec Warrior, and I'm joined with Mike Torlat. What's going on, Mike? How are you doing, man? I was trying to encourage you to wear the apron in tonight's show, dude. I was trying to.
I think I've headed off. I headed that off at the pass before it could have gotten. You need to feed people, is what I understand. So we're good. We're good.
We're gonna allow you to cook tonight. We're gonna allow you to cook, just like the Aztecs were cooking yesterday, dude. 2 wins, men's and women's team. You guys saw it. Hopefully, you guys saw it. We were in attendance, Mike. You were watching it from home. The Aztecs, big winners, 89-72 over Utah State on the men's side, and of course, we know that the women's side wrapped up the conference outright. Took down Boise 66-64. We're going to get into both games just a little bit because, look, we had high expectations for the men's team, and last night was just an unbelievable game. I mean, so many highlights. You guys see it in the chat. The highlight package before this was just unbelievable, the energy in the arena. But the women's team, I mean, they got it sewn up and just counting it down towards conference tournament in Vegas. But congratulations go out to them getting it outright, right? The women's team, I really appreciate you guys for supporting our interview this past week. Coach Greg Gottlieb, dude, that was a lot of good sound bites from that one, dude. I encourage all you guys to go check that out.
Yeah, that was big win for
that was your boy. That was your boy, Mike. That was your boy.
That's our guy, right? So his hair was perfectly coiffed, I'm sure, on the sidelines, like always. So, but the women's game was interesting to watch because they struggled in the first half up there. They were down 20. I think it was something like 28-21 or something like that at halftime, 29-21 at halftime, and then they came out on fire in the second and the third and fourth period. They shot 10 of 17 from three in the third and fourth period after going 1 of 10 to start. So they caught on fire in the second half, and that's what the difference in the game was, man. They came up and they did what they needed to do. A heart of a champion, right?
Yeah.
Did what they needed to do to win on the road, to clinch it on the road. Like, there's always a discussion. You always want to clinch it in front of your fans, but how kind of sweet it is to clinch it against a second place team at their house saying, no, this is us. This is ours. We're going to take this home with us. So congrats to them. Unbelievable game by everybody on the women's team. I mean, just
they got to clinch the share at home, and then like you said, you get to go on the road, and it's like you get to celebrate twice, right? Tough game.
yeah. I mean, congrats to them. It's just unbelievable. Now they come home Saturday, I believe, against who do they play? Wyoming, correct?
Wyoming, yeah.
So,
last season's championship game opponent. We were just talking about it with Coach Greg, right? Triple overtime last year in that championship game.
Still, I mean, to me, that still was one of the. I think that was the best game I saw all last year. There's the only women's game I saw last year, I believe. Probably the same for you, but
Yeah.
I mean, we were like, hey, let's get in. We're gonna go. I'm like, I'm going. I'm coming. And then Matt showed up with his glizzies, coming down. I mean, that was a fantastic game, and that was probably the best game I saw all year last year.
I was packing two glizzies. Two glizzies in that game. Came down and met you down there in the steps, and I'm glad I did because it was triple overtime, dude.
Yeah.
In that game, dude, Naomi, you can't be unsaid. Naomi Panginiban, 38 minutes played at altitude, 19 points, 7 of 16 field goals, and 3 3-pointers. Right? I mean, just the type of performance that you needed on the road, because at elevation and knowing that Boise, they are an outside shooting team, like they score, and that type of performance, team victory. But man, very, very, very nice.
Yeah, 66-64 at their house. I mean, that's a big win at Boise. They went the extra mile to get that W, if you will. Isn't it named extra mile? Okay. So anyways, I'm a dad now. I can say that. But hey, congrats to them. Awesome. Looking forward to hopefully Saturday's packed. Obviously, if I was down there, I'd be there. But hopefully Saturday's packed and everybody goes and supports our seniors, and we get another W to get to 18-1 in conference. 1 o'clock at Viejas against Wyoming. So be there, be square, get that dub.
Yeah, 1 o'clock. Like you said, Wyoming. I want to say the quote I'm seeing. If you go to goaztecs.com, I love this. They on their recap. The quote of the game: "We weren't playing for the standings." Right? You said it. We weren't playing for the standings. We were playing for the standard. Head coach Stacey Terry. I loved your Stacey Terry Hudson. I loved your dedication this morning to that hard in the paint, Mike. That was phenomenal. I'm gonna give you your props for that and pulling out that quote, because that actually is a monstrous quote, dude.
That's I'm better in the morning than I am at night. You know what I mean? Like the juices are flowing in the morning. But like that, I read that and I was like, oh, that's hard, man. That's a great quote. And it's not playing for the standings, playing for the standard. That sets a new precedent for that team, and it's like, hey, we're playing for the standard, not the standing. So great quote, great game, great win. Hopefully travel safe back here and hopefully get another one on Saturday.
Now we are going to get into the men's and everything that's going on the men's side, but I am curious. I'm not, and I'll be honest with you guys, I am not as familiar with postseason ball when it comes to the women's game. So like, if you get an automatic bid on the women's side by winning the tournament, I would think, right? I would think. Last year they won the tournament, faced LSU in the first round, just a juggernaut of a team, right? So looking and trying to find some research, the women's team, they're not ranked. They're not ranked yet, right? And I think I've been getting the question a lot, like, well, these girls are doing so well. The record is unbelievable in conference, 1 blemish on the record, but why aren't they ranked? And from my my limited knowledge in the women's game and the structure and the national way it revolves, I mean, they didn't really have any, how do you say, like big out of conference victories, right? They struggled in some of the I mean, they played UCLA right to start off, and they struggled at times, but going on this conference run that they have, I mean, their confidence is at sky high. So I'm hoping that resume will allow them to get in, but it's a lot more limited than the men's side bracket, right?
I think it's the same, because I don't know if they would have gotten in last year if they didn't win the tournament. So I believe it's the same structure. As of now, they're going to play at 12 o'clock on Sunday. against whoever the first round winner is that they have to match up with. But they'll play Sunday the 8th at 12 o'clock. But I believe it's the same structure as the men and women are. You win your conference, you're automatically in. So standing, I mean, rankings, whatever, how I feel about that. But should they be ranked? Probably. I mean, I think they're on a heater, but they're not. So you can't do anything about what you can't do anything about. 23-4. Just keep winning games, and the rest will take care of itself.
Yeah, we'll have to get on that. We'll have to get on that. For those of you guys wondering, Fiend is not with us tonight. He is, as we like to say, he's on assignment. He'll be working on our preview for the men's game coming up this weekend. So make sure you guys are checking that out. sonsofmontezuma.com. Just want to put that out so you guys aren't wondering, what happened to the Whistler, man. So hey, anytime Fiend's out there on the court, you guys know it. Oh, it's piercing. It's piercing, bro. That hurt my ears just putting that on right now.
Well, I remember when we were at Colorado State, we were right next to him. I was surprised we got out of there alive, honestly. People from the court were sitting, looking at us like, what the hell? He's like AJ Brzezinski in the stands. That guy that you love to have on your team, but if he's not on your team, you want to beat him up. You know what I mean? But that whistle is pretty impressive. Daddy, is that Uncle Fiend? Is that Uncle Fiend with the whistle? Yes, baby, that is. She's like, that's really loud, Daddy. That's our guy. We know he's there. So,
yeah.
And that whistle was when he 5 rows behind me at the I believe the Nevada game, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
I can't shake it.
Yeah, that was the red out. That was the red out.
Yeah.
I just love the couple's face in the back, just absolutely struggling to deal with it. Struggling. Look at that. Poor guy. He's there just plugging the ears. There's nothing you could do.
Look at the guy in the back. The guy in the back just looking like, dude. But that was, to be fair, that was our faces when we sit next to him at games. It's the same. It's similar, right?
And those seats, you're locked in down there, dude. You're not walking all the way up out of that bowl, getting your workout on to get away from that.
Yeah, it's a good. But
all right, enough of that.
He'll be back next time.
I do want to bring into the conversation because you guys know him. He's our producer of sorts, right? On all of our multimedia, all our media functions, of course, Swish League, all that good stuff. And he is a proud member of, Section A. I'm not going to call them what they like to call themselves. What's going on, El Chino? We'll bring him into the conversation. What's going on, Andrew? El Chino. Good to have you, dude.
What's going on, Mateo? What's going on, everybody? Mike, I feel good right now. We are on location. Unlike Logan, unlike Albuquerque, we got beautiful weather here in San Diego. And you know what you do when you're in San Diego on a summer day? You go out and enjoy it.
Oh, man.
I'm inside technically, whatever, but it's okay.
It's wonderful right now. It's wonderful out now.
Day after win, it feels good.
Jeez. Well, thank you for joining, dude. Thank you for joining the conversation. Let's get into it, guys. The men's team last night. Chino, you were there. I saw you. We had the war paint on. It was one of those games. Utah State, Aztecs, round 2 in this season's matchup. It was a big one. As Mike says, you had to have it. You could not lose this game and go down basically 2 games behind the Aggies had that would have happened. So I was worried coming into this game, guys. I didn't feel the energy. There was no momentum. You're on a 2-game skid. When's the last time that happened? Everybody was fearing that it was going to be 3. Mike, you pointed that out, 2018. And the team just absolutely came out, answered the call, answered the bell, and rocked Utah State's bell. The score doesn't really do it justice, I think. They got some buckets there towards the end. Mossoff, he's a good player. He hit some buckets there towards the end. How do you pronounce his name? I forget how you pronounce his name. But the team just overwhelmed them from I wouldn't say start to finish because Utah State came out hitting some shots, man. And I was scratching my head like, oh, no. But then the team just turned on a different gear. Reese, Dixon, Waters absolutely just cooking in that first half, on fire. Chino, I want to throw it to you because you were there. Former show member there. They brought it. They brought the energy. It had to make you proud. from your perspective, what jumped out to you in this game?
I think it's the intensity of it. I think Mateo touched upon it. Like Utah State got those 2 threes out the gate there. I think that was fine. I mean, you knew that our guys were going to meet the moment, and that I think you didn't have to repeat the stakes. Everybody knew. Everybody was locked in. A big thing we like to say here, with the group, it's like you got to set the tone, and that's what we did. I think the fans did their part. There's that saying that nature is healing. And I think we kind of saw that with the show. Like, I know there's been debate about them, this and that. Say what you want to say up to this point, but last night, I mean, they brought it. I don't remember. It's been a minute since I've seen an opposing player get rattled to the core the way Carson Templin got rattled. And you know what? Quite frankly, he asked for it. He asked for it. He's a very physical guy. He's one of those guys. You'd love to have him if he's on your team, but I mean, you don't have that kind of person on your team. Rubs you the wrong way. That's what he said, and it's challenge accepted on everybody's part. The show did their part and whatnot. There, felt like Philly for a little bit, but whatever. You know what? Kids be kids. Kids be kids. Let them chant what they want to chant and whatnot. There, the rest of the crowd kind of followed from there, and you saw those players. They're feeding off that energy, feeding it. It was like in a day and age where it matters, and winning by 1, winning by 2, whatever. But blowing out teams, it's the kind of stuff that's going to matter. Come Selection Sunday, and the players kind of knew what was at stake. They also knew that we're going to take every ounce of juice from this crowd, and we're going to run with it. Chase Simmons, my goodness, here. You talk about a freshman who's grown, who's been given opportunity to be able to be on the court for an extended period of time, and boy, did he run with it. Boy, Tay, quite the animated guy, I will say, whatever it is. Once he's in that game, locks back in very quickly. But what I saw overall, though, is the guys are having fun though. That's what he saw. Smiles, they're just flowing. 10-man rotation last night. I know we keep floating between 11, 10, 9, this number, but 10-man rotation last night. And you know what? This is the team we've been waiting for. My test for them is, number 1, can they play a full 40 minutes from end to end? Number 2, I think this big rotation is going to pay dividends, especially when they get to the tournament, playing 3 games in 3 days.
Well, before we get into rotation talk and all that good stuff, Mike, 89-72, could you actually hear any chants on the TV, them giving Templin all the business that the arena was giving him? Because to me, that's almost the story of the game, right? I mean, the team really was fueled off of the energy. They created the energy. The fans were giving it back. And, I mean, let's be honest, they did it to us there in Logan. It was payback. Could you even tell how was the crowd coming across over the screen?
I mean, I could tell the crowd was in it. I couldn't tell what the show was chanting. Like I didn't listen to it. I didn't hear it. So whether that was,
are we allowed to repeat it on here, by the way?
Maybe
no FCC.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But they rattled Templin kind of like the herd rattled like Bird a little bit up there. It was kind of the similar. Bird is kind of like, and Templin are similar in their passion for their game and their animation. Right. And they're both good players. And so we kind of got a little payback for that. He's kind of like I was watching it, and he's kind of like Johnny from Karate Kid.
That's
right?
what everybody was saying.
Yeah. So then that side note is Daniel LaRusso the good guy or the bad guy in that movie? You can Google that. Google that.
Hey, you know what? Credit to him though. He wanted it. He knows what he's doing when he puts that on. He's got the look. He's got it down like Cobra Kai. That whole deal. He's embracing it. That's the type of personality he is. Yeah. And I think you said it like, yeah, he's embracing it.
Which is good. You got to do it. I mean, but like, that to me, I was nervous that they came out hot. That 135. I don't remember his name for them. He came out hot. He came out passionate. He was playing. I was like, oh no, man. Oh no. Right. So, and then Reese, just to be fair, Reese started off hot in Utah State until he kind of twisted his ankle. Similar in the first half, right? So he was hot. He gets that ball and shoots in the corner, and he hits 1, he hits 2. Like, hey, let's go. He's deadly with that, and when he gets his confidence up. But it was an interesting. I don't even know what the word is, because it was the same for him in the first half of both games. And, sans if he didn't get hurt in that first game with his ankle, who knows what happened. But the fact they came out, they won the game. They needed to win that game. Quad won at home. What Torvek was saying, I think Fiend was saying Torvek had us predicted in like five losses in a row or something like that. And I was like, well, that's not good, right? So what
does Torvik know? What does Torvik
know, man?
Know?
Like, he was talking about some bets and stuff like that. We'll have to figure that out in Vegas, but it was a great win, man. Yeah, he's omnipresent. He's ubiquitous. But that was a big win to get tied for first place. 3 games left. You play the other team in front of you. If you beat New Mexico, you're 2 games up on the next closest. That's what you want. That's another quad 1 game, I believe. And the other interesting thing is they have New Mexico as the last one in.
Really?
A lot of the brackets have New Mexico as the last one in. So this is a big game on the road. I think they've only lost 1 at road, which 1 at home, I think, was to Boise. But the interesting too is the top 3 or 4 teams in the conference have all had 2-game losing streaks. Utah's had 2-game winning streaks in conference. So everybody in the top 4 has had 2-game losing streaks in conference. So it's not like we're an anomalous, it happened to everybody. So it's how you come back and fight. And they did, and they played well, and they looked like they're having fun. And Tay looked like he learned from his passion in Colorado State when he got that T. And he kind of channeled that passion into, that dunk was vicious, man. And he's a confident kid. He's an athletic kid. He kind of looks like Albie Shore. Like, when I see him, I'm like, oh, kind of looks like Albie Shore. You know what I mean? So, like, but when he harnesses his confidence into knowing what he can do and he's so comfortable in the system, I'm not saying he's not. As a freshman, at this point, you're not really a freshman anymore. He's going to be dangerous. And if he can play again the way he plays and have him, and then, hey, again, Farrell, double digits, undefeated when he has double digits. This is the team we were looking at all year. This is a team we thought we were going to get all year. Defense played well. Offense played well. You got to string 2 together.
Well, I thought it was interesting. Dutcher, of course, you love his post-game pressers, and he's saying, look, the rotation to kind of move forward, Chino, with what you're talking about, the rotation, like, the team is healthy. Everybody was at his disposal, right? Which, they've struggled with injuries, of course, Magoon, LZ, getting those guys back. It's been a couple games for Magoon, and I think it's taking him naturally, and as it should, some time to really get in there. That half-court bank 3 was huge, absolutely huge. But it was interesting to see the rotation tighten up a little bit, right? I mean, Newman got a couple minutes here or there. Odin didn't get any minutes, but, it depends on the matchup. And I think, we've got to get to that point in time, and tell me what you think, as move forward. But, like, you just got to get to that point in time, okay? That's been the talk, right? Was it hurting or helping this team? I don't know if I really have a conclusive answer for that. I think the easy answer is everybody wants to say, well, yes, tighten it up. But
right.
I think it just depends on the matchup, depends on the situation. If somebody goes down, you're going to want to have, that depth there.
For perspective, remember the first meeting at Utah State? We were down 2 players, and we had a good lead for about 75-80% of the game, and then just those last couple of minutes. So we had the full array of players for this matchup. So it was you had that luxury here, and it felt like the guys were fresh. It felt like we kind of adjusted. You mentioned Odin not having any minutes. Newman's minutes were going to cut down. We kind of redistributed the minutes a little bit, and kind of able, once we kind of found that groove and that it started to click, Dutch would know when to kind of like stick with it and then sub it out and whatnot here too. Get some fresh legs in there and just wear down those guys from Logan.
Moving forward, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if that's really a sticking point or not. Obviously, having Magoon for this game was huge, and that's something that you can't discount that, right? But just the aggressiveness coming out, I think for the first time in a long time, they came out in the second half and instantly, I mean, Miles Bird was shot out of a cannon defensively and offensively. So, for everybody who wants to be that that coach, that what does they say, Monday morning quarterback type of mentality. I don't know if we're gonna see anything change. I mean, it's still, you got to have all your players, and that's going to dictate how you arrange your rotation accordingly. Oh, T-Mac, what's going on, T-Mac? It's good to see you. It was great to hang pregame yesterday, of course. Anytime T-Mac's in town. Mike, you got to appreciate this super chat from T-Mac. You got to appreciate it. RDW. Of course, that means Reese Dixon Waters.
So
what can you say? What can you say? That's the chat. Reese Dixon Waters.
We know what we have with him. Like Dutch says, he's got the green light. So I remember we talked about early in the season. Why did he pick 39? They finally said it on the broadcast. Jacobson's like, it was bugging me. It was bugging me because that's an odd number for basketball, right? Because you have to do it's usually one hand. So apparently the street the house he grew up in on as a kid was 3939, whatever the street was. So that's allegedly why he picked 39 as the number, is the street he grew up on. The street, the house number of the street he grew up on. So I thought I'm like, that's one thing that's off my plate that I don't have to worry about anymore, right? But him, I mean, he just came out hot. And then, I think if unless he kind of carries the team offensively, which he has been the last 8 or 9 games, that's our guy. That's our guy. 6-year senior, the elder statesman. You know what I mean? Like he's you can see he's the offensive linchpin. Obviously Bird is there too, but for the most part, he's the one who's been double digits all the time. So he's our leading scorer. That's the guy that's going to have to carry us as our leader moving forward. If he has a good night, I'm comfortable saying we're probably going to win most of those games. So Reese is our guy. He's coming in the last 3 regular season games of his career, and I think this is going to be interesting to see. Like I said, you got to put 2 together. You got to put 2 together. And the pit, we've seen it, is a tough place to play, especially day games with our guys. We tend to struggle with day games historically as a franchise or whatever you want to call it. So, since day one he's gotten here, man, you know how I feel about him, dude. I'm a big fan of his. I love watching his game. And so, that's going to be the guy that leads us.
Any thoughts on that, Chino? I know moving forward as we kind of transition into this New Mexico game on Saturday, Mike hit it on the head. I mean, every time we play those early games on Big Boy CBS, it seems to be a little bit of a trip-up game.
Yeah, by the way, 11 o'clock Pacific time on that, for if you want to set your alarms or whatever the case, your calendar, set a big one at New Mexico. I mean, you know what you get with the Pit. You know what you get with them. I don't care if it's 11 a.m., 11 p.m. You know what you get with the Pit. And it's a team and a fan base you love to hate at the end of the day. But it's interesting. It's like, coming from the Utah State game, coming into Saturday, going to New Mexico, like it's one of those teams and fan bases where I kind of go back and forth with myself, and I'm like, it's a team you love to hate, you hate to love, because you know what? There's been some great matchups over the years with those guys, regular season, in the tournament. Like it's what you want. It's good. It's for the casual viewer. It's great cinema. It's cinema right there that you're seeing, and we've had many of those over the years. And now, that we have the final Mountain West Conference away game at the Pit, and for the foreseeable future, they're going to be amped up. It's going to be. We keep saying, I know we've said on previous episodes, this is our San Diego State's the Super Bowl, blah 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 blah. I think it's going to be no different, and they're going to bring everything and everything. We know what that fan base is capable of. I mean, they got that intensity that we bring to other fan bases. So I think these boys know what to do. To Mike's point earlier, we got the quad one win against Utah State. At New Mexico's a quad one. At Boise is a quad one. Kind of peel the picture back a little bit. I think UNLV is a quad 3 at home. So those opportunities are running out in terms of stacking the resume. I think bracket-wise, Lenardi from ESPN has this because we're tied to Utah State. We got the automatic qualifier. But that drop off between automatic qualifier and being one of those first few teams out, it's quite the gap there. So going back to New Mexico, like our margin for error is pretty much, I don't want to say it's first shot, but we're at a point like just win, baby. Like find a way in New Mexico. Like metrics be damned, just win. You have control of the fate. You're tied for first. You got all the we got all the tiebreakers against Utah State and New Mexico's of the world here for that number one seed in the tournament. Just win. We control our fate. Just do it.
I hate to look ahead so much, right? But I mean, that is the name of the game. We're looking at the NCAA tournament. That's where everybody wants to go, and New Mexico is that stumbling block. Every team is going to be that stumbling block in our way. I mean, you basically have to be perfect to guarantee yourself any chance. I mean, last year we were in the play-in game, right? Which the guys have that in their minds. You heard Bird talking about that. Nobody's happy about leaving the job undone last year as it happened. I love what T-Mac says, though. He says, hey, if Utah State can dominate UNM in the pit, so can the Aztecs. I believe that firmly. Now, I don't want to get too confident, though, right? Because I came into this game against Utah State not really having much confidence. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not a fan of because every game is different, right? Like we talked about, like Fiend said in the text message, like clockwork. It's a stripe out at New Mexico. It was orange out at Colorado State. It was a white out at Utah State. All this, it's they put their marketing plan around us visiting there, right? So I remember we were when we were in New Mexico, it was a stripe out. So each game is different. Yeah. There's a little different vibe when we come to town than other teams. Sorry, it just is what it is. We're just a different team when we come to town. So we play New Mexico, Grand Canyon plays Utah State. So you have 4 of the top 5 teams playing each other this week, right? A lot of things can happen in the next three games. A lot of things can happen. So you can't take anything for granted. You got it. They're not going to roll, or they need to win too. They want to protect home court, because if they win at us, beat us at home, that's a quad win for them. So I think we're 45 in the net rankings, and they're 47, I believe, if I remember correctly. So this is a big game. This obviously they're all big games, but I can't. Comparison is the thief of joy. Like I've said, you can't compare us to anybody else. You can't compare Utah State playing New Mexico. They might have different matchups than we do against them. Now, if we play the way we played against Utah State, there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to have a tough time beating us. With that defense, how they played. Hey, by the way, Taj had 8 assists. He had 8 assists this game. That's impressive. I mean, 12 points, 8 assists. This team is starting to gel, like Greg said in the interview. Like that 2002 team, it clicked late. And it's weird to say that we're 19-8, 13-4 in conference, and we haven't necessarily really clicked yet. That's scary. Yeah. That's scary. You blow out a Utah State team by 17, 18 points. We took them to the woodshed. Now that's at home. Now you got to replicate that on the road. That's like when Goon came back, he had that first good game, and then he kind of had a little, fall off the second game. Same thing with the team. You had one great game at home. You got to put 2 together.
I think also to piggyback off that, one of the biggest factors is BJ Davis, right? We knew he kind of needed to get back into the swing of things at that. Coming off the bench at that 6-man role, him and Taj and Farrow, I mean, if they can continually do what they were doing early in the conference season, get that element of the team back, you really got to watch out. Really got to watch out for these guys. And hey, he had 8 points, BJ did last night, 2 of 3 field goals, which, okay, I get it. It's not a ton, but coming off the bench, that contribution, that efficiency in those shots, that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, I always preferred him off the bench as a 6-man because he's a spark plug, right? When he was in as a starter, not to downgrade his athleticism, his play, I just liked him better off the bench as a 6-man. He brings a different energy as a 6-man off of the bench. I mean, and look at it. So there was 42 points from our bench with 4 guys. And so you had that's huge, man. Like you have to you have to have someone come off the bench as a six-man as a spark plug. Now, Reese, 20 points, 3 of 6 from 3. You know, the free throws, I mean, I don't know. I'm not really thrilled with that 67%. That kind of gives me anxiety, but that's a problem for another day. And that problem that, you know, we need to worry about that when we need to worry about that, which is probably Saturday. But Tay played well. They all played well. They all played as a team. Like we talked about last game, you know, Fee was saying they played individually. I felt like they all gelled and they all played well together. You know, I was a little nervous when Goon, you know, had that. I think he had a cramp in the back of his leg, which I think it was, you know, I was like, oh no, here we go. But, you know, that this is a team that if they continue to play well and they play like that, they're going to be tough to beat.
Well, New Mexico is playing some really good ball, guys. They're playing some good ball right now.
And they're coming off a
at
loss.
home.
Yeah, they're coming off a loss at Nevada. So they don't want to lose 2 in a row either. So this
and they're going to have a week to prepare, I think, right? You don't have a midweek game, so.
They played yesterday. They played Tuesday.
They played
Tuesday, yeah.
Now, I can't say I have a crystal ball how that game's going to go. I mean, we've seen it, right? Like, we lose 2 in a row, and then we come out with this performance, right? But I'm feeling pretty good. Guys getting healthy, and what we saw.
Yeah. I mean, Colorado State's playing well. They've won 6 in a row. I mean, they're not to be trifled with, right? Nevada's not to be trifled with. None of these teams are to be trifled with, honestly. I think Colorado State's the hottest team in the conference right now, quite frankly. 6 in a row.
They struggled, though. They did struggle. Yeah. They did struggle in this last one. They had me pretty ornery seeing them struggle. I'm like, oh God, they're gonna lose. Yeah, but they pulled it out.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, this is all jockeying for position now. So you can't, like I said, T-Mac, you know, I would love for Grand Canyon to beat Utah State. You can't. I think they said something to the fact that I think Ken Palm ranked the toughest venues in the country to play in, and I believe the Spectrum Center up in Logan is like 8th in the country.
Yeah, that's the number I heard too.
It's top 10, which is crazy, right? So which makes sense, you know. But I'm sure Grand Canyon's up there somewhere. But Viejas is tough too. But you know, the only focus we need to worry about is just going into New Mexico, getting that win, and then getting home, and then getting up to Boise. There's nothing else you need to worry about except winning at New Mexico. On the road, 12 o'clock start there, local time, corn salsa, tacos, W's. Let's go.
No corn in the salsa. Number one most interesting thing that I'm looking forward to seeing in this game against New Mexico on the road, how are we going to handle Buljan? J. Call, I get it. J. Call, I get it. Right? He's a very talented player. But last game, Buljan, he was a load. He was tough, and at home, you know, the shots drop a little better, a little easier. But that big boy, he's gonna be tough because he showed us something at home. They kept it tight. He's
a good player.
What's your guys' number one thing? What's your guys' number one thing in this New Mexico game? Keep an eye on. Of course, we're waiting for Fiend's article. You guys make sure you guys check that out tomorrow. sonsofmontezuma.com. He'll be putting out his preview article. But what's the number one thing for you, Chino?
For me, is to you got to keep the crowd out of this game. It's the pit. I think it's a show of respect there, but I know it's keep the crowd out of this game. You know, I think a big thing that we did was bully Utah State in the paint. We were drawing fouls. Granted, the refs were calling about 80 calling. I think we were in the double bonus pretty early, both halves. But I mean, they were getting in there, getting the boards, getting into the free throw line, just making those possessions productive. If you weren't making them, I'd shoot my way into the free throw line. And I know, granted, I know Mike had mentioned, 22 for 33 on the free throws this game, last game against Utah State. It's kind of like just find a way to get in there. I think we cleaned up the boards in this previous game to get in there. Buljan, he's going to be a load, but we got the guys in the depth to be able to kind of wear down that load a little bit. The Jake Halls of the world, the Carlsbad guy, he's going to get his points. Those guys are going to get their points, but how are you going to contain those other role players? How are you going to contain that pace? own that paint. It's going to be a battle, to say the least.
T-Mac saying Bojan is not the same lately. It's a long season. The team is going through a lot of different lows, changes. J. Cole, I'd be fine if he gets his points. I think we're okay. It's just everybody else. I think you really got to limit their opportunities. At least that's my gut. That's my gut.
Yeah, I mean, for me, there was some interesting fouls in this game, both sides, quite frankly. So you can't really. I think that there's some fouls. You're like, all right, I don't know about that. Like Bird blocked that ball and it was a foul. I mean, we got a lot of beneficial calls at home, quite frankly. So you can't really rely on that, especially on the road. But we bullied Utah State in the paint. They did it to us up in Logan. Energy, urgency, and points in the paint. To me, that are the three key factors for this next game. This game, obviously we talked about our defense is set kind of in the key. And then that's why everybody kind of shoots threes and stuff like that, because we kind of leave them open. But the guys were collapsing on the three and making them, contested more so than the last few games that I saw. So that's what I look for. Now, the interesting thing, too, is the pit is the pit, but you don't have that guy who's been there 3 or 4 years that can jump up the crowd like House. These are all new guys. There's already scuttlebutt about Olin going somewhere else already, which is like whatever. Same thing with the guy at Utah State. That's their problem. That's not our problem. So
could have told you we did. I think we did mention that before the season started. Okay. Like, watch out, he's gonna jump. He's gonna
great
jump
coach.
soon.
I mean, look what he did. He came in with so it's kind of a similar blueprint as Utah State. They come in and they just win, right? He just wins. He knows how to do it. So that to me is urgency, energy, and points in the paint. If you can go on and on, everything's kind of important, right? But that is the one. Those are the three that I think are going to play. Like they played 8 guys against Nevada, right? So I don't think they have a really deep roster in terms of playing guys like we do. Like when they played Fresno State, they played 8 guys. At the end of the day, this is a long season. You're putting a lot of minutes on these guys' legs. We have a lot of guys that haven't really played a full season. LZ, Magoon, guys have been out. That's going to take at some point. That's got to take its toll on kids, no matter how older you are. I mean, that's a long season, man.
I haven't checked in with Coach Howell and see how Chris Howell's doing. I didn't see him in the. I haven't kept up with his. I know he was hurt when they made the trip down to Viejas last time, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on there, but that'll be interesting. Well, it's gonna be a fun one, guys. It's gonna be a fun one. I know one thing I hope was going to be in the pit to help the Aztecs pull out a victory, and that would be, of course. Oh, it would have been so great to annoy one last time those Lobo fans and their corn salsa there in the pit, but it's not going to happen. We thought about making the trip, but I think Captain Eli wanted to go, and I was like, nah, it's too close to tournament time.
You mentioned how I don't see that he's played the last 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, I don't think so.
We're back. We're complete. We've completely melted down here. So, but yeah, so he hasn't played the last few games. I think the last 5 or 6. So I don't know what's going on there. But if he doesn't play, you got to take advantage of what you can't play who's not on your schedule. You can't play who's not on the other team, but you take advantage of what you can take advantage. And that's a big one. Again, Compton, when he has double digits, we win. We're undefeated. So,
it's a great point. It's a great point.
I mean, it's just the numbers are the numbers. This team is who we are, right? Now that we're all together, we're playing 9 guys. I like that. We talked about, there was a stat, Fiend was throwing around stats about our 9-man rotation, our 10-man rotation, 11-man rotation. I think it was somebody else. It might have been Aztec Analytics. So, but that was an interesting thing to see. So we play 9 guys and we're fresh. We got backups if we need them. You're playing 8 guys. That, like Chino said, that's going to be big in those 3 games in 3 days.
Keep in mind too, if we're talking about the tournament, because GCU came in a year early. It's only the top 4 teams that get the bye. Right. You're the 5th seed this year. You're playing on Wednesday. You're starting your journey on Wednesday. It's only top 4 this year, so big difference there. But I'm like, that's for, like Mike says, the palm for another day here. We're tied for first here. The crown's right there for the taking if you want it. You gotta get, we're good. We've had good teams over the years, great teams over the years. The great ones find a way to do it on the road in front of the most hostile people. The pit, it starts with the pit.
Absolutely.
Like Greg said,
Got it.
good teams handle adversity, great teams handle success. So we have 3 games left. We win all 3. It's pretty simple math. We're the number 1 seed. We win the conference. The women have done their job. It's time for the men to finish it strong and get that 1 seed. Because that's to me, that's still weird that the 1 seed plays at 12, the 4 seeds plays at 2:30, and then the 2 and 3 is 6 and 8:30 or whatever it is. I was always interested by that, but whatever. I mean, you can't do anything about that. But this is a big game, guys. Quad 1 on the road, 2 and 5 in quad 1 games. Just need to keep stacking dubs because any trip up at this point, it's a coin toss. Lenardi, I think, slid us into the last 4 in with that win against Utah State, but there's still a lot of work to do.
Yeah. That's probably predicting you're gonna come out with victories on the road, at least split on the road.
Yeah, and they had Utah State as a 7 seed before last night's game, which obviously means they're probably comfortably in at this point, right? But you still got to win your games. They still got to, they got Grand Canyon at home. There's still a lot of games to play. There's going to be, I'll tell you what, this tournament's going to be wild. This conference tournament is going to be absolutely insane because who do you, the top 6 or 7 teams? I mean, we can see Grand Canyon's the 5 seed right now. Colorado State is the 6, and Boise State. I'll tell you what. Boise State is still Boise State. They're still a good team, so
fully capable.
Yeah. We need to go to the pit and don't let Leon.
Don't tell that to their fans. Yeah. Don't tell that to their fans though. Don't tell that to their fans.
Leon Rice's BFF down there.
Hey, we'll be in good shape, I think, if it's a 2-bid league. I think we'll be all right. But like you said, gotta prove it. Gotta do it.
Ruthless aggression.
Toughness and relentlessness wins it all, Philly says. Phil E3706. Crash the boards, a box out. Seeing that in the chat as well. Yeah, well, kind of with Pharaoh, when his shooting percentage is so high, and I think we'll kind of end things on this type of a note where his shooting percentage is so high, and if he's getting above 10 points, that tells you it's a great indication that the guys are sharing the ball. You know what I mean? They're pushing the ball, getting those transition buckets, but they're sharing the ball. They're getting it to him because it's always a dunk or a layup or something, right? So that tells you the offense or the flow of the game is going in our direction, and the guys are sharing the ball. Pharaoh's not one of those guys that he's going to do a turnaround jumper or really his offensive game. I think can get there, but it hasn't evolved to that point where he's creating his own shots down low on the block or around the perimeter. So if he's scoring, they're getting him the ball. They're sharing the ball.
Staying out of foul troubles are going to be also key for him too. He's got that. He's relentless on that D too as well. So, but just kind of just being smart about it there, keep yourself in that game, keep yourself there for the first half, keep yourself there for that last 20 minutes, and hopefully not overtimes. I know we've got many overtime games over the season here, but hopefully do whatever it takes to win. That's really what it is. It's metrics be damned. You just got to, Mike said it, stacking dubs at this point. That's what we got to do.
That's it. Chino, thank you for joining us. I know you're out and about, man. Go handle yours. We'll wrap things up, and we'll talk very soon because we might be watching the game somewhere this Saturday. See you, dude.
All right, buddy.
Everybody, want to thank you guys for joining the stream. We're going to wrap things up on that note. I think this Saturday, 11 a.m., we're figuring out if we're going to do a little watch party. I know 1 o'clock, we're going to try to walk over to the women's game, senior day. So hopefully, maybe we'll do another little viewing somewhere there on campus nearby. Mike, thank you for your time. Love the new lid. It's supper time. Go handle yours.
Hey, real quick, I think we've lost sight of one very important thing that we haven't really discussed this year.
Okay.
when is Magoon Commander going to get his tattoo that he promised he would get if Magoon came back? Now, I don't like people who don't pay their bets. Andy made a bet. He paid his bet. So Magoon Commander, do what you said you were going to do. It's all on the internet. It's all coming back. If you don't want it out there, don't post it. When are you getting the tattoo, bro? It's time to be the ferryman. Let's go.
Oh, calling you out. The shots fired. All right.
This happens and you don't do it. That's straight. That's the antithesis of straight doo-doo, baby.
Oh.
So we'll wait. We'll wait. Hey, please advise, as they say, await your advices in the corporate world. So, anyways, hey, glad to be back. Good win.
Talk about shooting your shot. T-Max putting it out there. Aztecs by 8 over New Mexico with the super. He's calling his shot. I appreciate that. You guys let us know in the chat, Aztecs or Lobos fans, because we know you Lobos fans are lurking. You guys are lurking from your Lobo lair. Let us know what you guys think the score is going to be in the comments. Everybody put your score prediction. It's going to be a fun one. 11 a.m. Pacific time. Big CBS. Aztecs and the Lobos. Aztecs and the corn and the salsa eaters. Everybody enjoy the game. Have fun. It's just a game. We'll see you all again in Vegas, I'm sure.
Are we going to Vegas?
Might do that.
We have some. Hey, by the way, real quick, we have some interesting plans wrapped around these basketball games. We're not going to say it on the air because this is our little thing that we do. Me, you, Fiends. I don't know if Andy's going or not. I don't believe, right? But hey, dude, when we get there, I mean, this is gonna be a fun trip. I love coming out to Vegas with you guys, and seeing you guys. I'm only gonna get to probably 2 games. My little girl's got the gymnastics meet out on Saturday afternoon, like 4:45. So hopefully we get to that final championship. But at the end of the day, get to see you guys, get to hang out in Vegas, have some fun. Taco Bell Cantina.
Tradition.
Yeah, I mean that place is
never graduates. Tradition never graduates. Taco Bell Cantina.
But like Fisher said, how do you eat an elephant? One Taco Bell Cantina taco at a time, right? So yeah, but hey, congrats, big win for all the men and the women. Victory Wednesday on the Mesa. One side of the coin is finished with the championship for the women. The men have some work to do, but if they can win Saturday, they're in a good spot because then they're 2 games ahead of New Mexico. So in the standings. So let's go, man. Let's go.
Thank you, everybody. Make sure you're saving 15% off. sonsofmontezuma.com in the shop. Of course, use the promo code MONTY. Support your friendly neighborhood Sons of Montezuma. And we'll see you guys next time. Go Aztecs. Let's go. Beat the Lobos.
Aztecs. Beat New Mexico. Safe travels, guys.